Mark Cuban and Joe Scarborough apparently don't like the fact that Bill Maher is defending free speech. Who would have guessed? Now, this conversation recently took place in regards to Elon Musk, who has been the target of a lot of harassment, not just from random liberals on the internet, but from the US government itself. That is right. The Air Force actually denied Elon Musk the right to use an Air Force base for SpaceX recently, literally, and they said this openly, as you'll hear in this video, over his politics. Bill Maher thinks that's problematic, but the other two panelists, as you'll hear, do nothing but make excuses for it. So I'm Vince with Resist the Mainstream. If you enjoy our content, please do us a big favor by hitting that subscribe button down below. And why should you subscribe? Because you doing so goes a long way in ensuring we can keep bringing you these videos. And by the way, it is totally free. All you got to do is hit that red button. And with that said, let's get into today's reaction.
Commissioner Hart saying, "We're dealing with a company, the head of which has aggressively injected himself into the presidential race and made it clear what his point of view is." Yes, because he lives in America, and he can do that. Yeah. It has nothing to do with this. And, you know, the right thinks that the left is in a very different place with free speech than they have been before, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong. This is arrogant. You don't punish somebody. It would be like if we stopped Henry Ford from making the cars because we didn't like what
but can you take one anecdotal example? One idiot, right? Truly an idiot to stop.
This is not an idiot. This is someone with power.
An idiot with power is not unusual.
Okay, but that's right. No, but having power.
So as you can see, this freaking Mark Cuban, all he ever does is make excuses for this behavior. Right? Literally, you have officials in the government who, by the way, serve what? The Biden-Harris administration, are stopping space travel and discovery, right? Things that actually benefit America because they don't like the fact that Elon Musk supports Trump. And Mark Cuban is just like, oh, that's just one idiot. Really? Because on the topic of free speech, I think it goes a lot deeper, this censorship issue, than just one idiot. And by the way, as we have this discussion, let's not forget the fact that Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and the entire mainstream Democrat Party support the censorship of free speech. So yes, that may be idiotic, but that is a lot deeper than just one idiot. In fact, that is what the presidential ticket that you support literally is running on. Not a joke.
We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrent.
Yeah, so just remember that as Mark Cuban arrogantly tries to downplay this entire free speech issue. This is not just a small thing that some random people are saying. Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton have both called for civil and criminal prosecution of platforms or people that promote misinformation or propaganda, which in other words just means things that make them look bad or disagree with the Democrats. Tim Walz went out openly and said there is no First Amendment guarantee to misinformation or hate speech, which by the way, there literally is, which means that the Harris-Walz presidential ticket does not believe in the First Amendment. Again, that is a lot bigger than just one random idiot. That is literally the campaign you support. So we'll talk more about this in a second and play you the rest of this Bill Maher segment. But first, a quick word from our sponsors today over at Goldco. Folks, time is running out to protect your savings, and that's why we have teamed up with Goldco. They can help you safeguard and diversify your retirement with gold and silver IRAs, providing a critical shield against inflation, dollar devaluation, and whatever chaos may unfold as a result of this election year. So don't wait. Goldco makes rolling over your 401k or IRA fast, easy, and tax penalty free With their expert white glove service, you can take action now, hassle-free, to protect your savings and your retirement. And plus, right now, for a limited time, you can get up to $10,000 in free silver when you open an account. Diversifying your portfolio is important, so why not get a free information kit to learn more? You can do so right now at rtmgold.com. Again, that is rtmgold.com to get your free gold and silver information kit. Don't wait. Learn more for free right now today.
Power matters.
Well, let's talk about why we've talked about entrepreneurs and what makes America great. You know what makes our economy, what sustains our economy? The rule of law. And that's what I believe is at stake at this election. We want a fair and equitable approach to the rule of law. The great thing about America is
apparently that does not include the First Amendment, because Tim Walz openly just said he does not believe in that. By the way, so does Kamala Harris. So
idiot makes a decision like that based on politics instead of based on what their job is. You can take it to the courts. The courts will overturn it, and I guarantee you they're gonna have that decision overturned, and they're gonna have to find another reason, a better reason, a more relevant reason to deny.
And they'll learn a harder lesson. He'll just move more of his production and more of his launches somewhere else, to Florida or to Texas,
exactly.
wherever. Yeah. I mean, they'll learn the hard way.
But it's just the attitude that I find scary, that they're far too willing to stifle freedoms, including speech, for the sake of safety or misinformation, sometimes which is coming from everybody. It's, no one has a monopoly on it. Or just power.
You're saying nobody
it's just
has a
power.
monopoly on it. Come on. That's some moral relativism right there.
I said nobody has a monopoly.
You said nobody has a monopoly on it, but that's like saying nobody has a monopoly on being a billionaire. He's got that monopoly up here. I mean,
that's moral relativism to say that both sides do misinformation. So essentially the argument that Joe Scarborough is making is that misinformation and lying is okay when our side does it because our side is morally correct. Like that's what he is saying. Just to get an idea of how insane this guy is, okay? They're both sitting here on the panel making excuses for it. Like, oh, it's not a big deal that the U.S. government and the Kamala Harris-Tim Walz ticket literally does not believe in the First Amendment to the Constitution. Who cares? What a non-issue, am I right? But then he's going out and saying this. What are they even talking about?
He's got more money than us. A lot more money than us. So,
I don't get the.
You don't get it?
I don't know what point you're making.
You're saying it's both sides, isn't it?
Well,
there is no doubt.
There's no misinformation.
There's some disinformation from the left, but comparing it to what Donald Trump spews out every day, every week, comparing it to what Elon Musk is spewing out, unfortunately, on X, you sound like Brett Stevens now, with all due respect. It's a joke. That's a real time.
And you sound like him, who looks like Rachel Maddow.
You understand what I'm saying?
I've never argued with that. I've never argued of a false equivalency. I just said there is misinformation from both sides. Well, I lived through COVID. Don't tell me there wasn't misinformation.
But there's a difference between...
I lived through stupid policies based on bad information and stifled information.
But intent matters.
That's what Zuckerberg said. He said they were forcing us not to put out...
But intent matters, right? Even back then, they were trying to save lives, even if they did it the wrong way. Okay. But here with this lady, there's no good intent. She's just trying to prove her point. If you get it wrong, trying to do the right thing...
Intent matters, according to Mark Cuban. So it was okay during COVID when they ruined millions of lives, when they destroyed people's businesses and livelihoods, when they kept kids out of school and their development socially or educationally has never been the same, when they crashed the U.S. economy. All of that was okay. By the way, they caused a lot of suicides because of isolation too. But that was all okay because they were doing it with good intentions, which we don't even know that, by the way, but according to Mark Cuban, but they meant to save lives. That's what they were trying to do, so it's all okay. So remember, folks, for a second, the central cope or excuse of Joe Scarborough and Mark Cuban is to argue that Bill Maher is wrong. The left does not have a dystopian war against free speech. That's all in your head. And in order to justify that, they made two central arguments. The first was that, like, misinformation and, lying is okay, or it's a non-factor when our own side does it because we are right even when we lie, apparently. And then Mark Cuban, of course, the most dystopian statement I think you could possibly ever hear. It's all okay because we're doing it with good intentions, right? Well, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And by the way, the right wing could make that same argument too. Oh, you're mad because we implemented a policy you don't like? Well, our intentions are good. So just deal with it, buddy. Who cares about the consequences? That is dystopian. Like that's an Orwell. That's exactly what a crazy, totalitarian, dystopian world, what the government would say. You know, don't worry, we're doing it with good intentions. Okay, it's for your own good, according to Mark Cuban. No, Bill Maher is completely right. There is a very concerning trend when it comes to free speech on the left. And if you want to talk about mainstream characters, it's really only coming from the left, right? It is Kamala Harris and Tim Walz who are openly campaigning on they don't believe in the First Amendment. And you can sit there and make excuses for it, but the fact of the matter is it's completely true. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. But until next time, I've been Vince with Resist the Mainstream. Hope you enjoyed, and peace.